Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. Welcome back to PM and the AM, a comedy podcast designed for listeners of all ages. The show where our main goal is to make you laugh out loud no matter where you're listening. And we do that with a number of different techniques. First, we go into some news stories that are pretty crazy. We make up some brackets and draft things that are pretty insane. And today we've got a listener-submitted question that's going to be awesome coming up. My name is Porter McNeely, and I'm joined alongside co-host Blake Bushman. How are you doing today, Blake?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I noticed you did say that we would make you laugh, which I appreciate the guarantee. It's not, it's always up in the air, but we do think we're pretty funny, so we laugh, and that's really what's most important to me.
I mean, the reviews are overwhelmingly positive. I don't know if that's just because it's family and close friends, just patting us on the back saying it's pretty good, but we do have we probably do have this close to 50 5-star reviews. So, I mean, that just keeps patting us on the back.
And as far as I know, we haven't gotten anything less than 5 stars. I mean, that's 100%. Like, that's a pretty good rating. So,
I wish you wouldn't have said that, Blake, because there's probably somebody out there that's I'm going to ruin that this week.
Yeah.
Bad idea.
I mean, joke's on them. A 4-star review is still a good review. We will take it.
No, we won't. Anything less than 5, don't want it.
We delete.
Exactly. But that gives me a good idea here. We want to make an agreement with you, the listeners. If you get a single laugh out of this, it probably brightened your day in some way. And so we're going to ask that you do at least one of 2 things for us. One, you drop a rating on the show, a 5-star rating on the show because you laugh. It's not always easy to laugh, and we got to work hard for that. Or number 2, you take this podcast to a friend and you go, man, you could use some laughter in your day. You could use some PM in the AM, some wakey, eggs and bakey would make your day better. That's why I'm going to share the show with you. Obviously, we don't do this show for much money, but we do want to grow.
We're raking it in right now.
That's an understatement. But that will be our agreement with you, the listeners.
Or if you don't want to do that, you can also Venmo us like $50.
Yeah, that's cool too.
Yeah. So
sure.
Take your pick, $50 or 5-star review. The choice is yours, but one is a little easier on the wallet. So.
But with no further ado, we have another listener-submitted question this week that we're really excited for. And we got an Instagram DM asking us to go through some of the most insane holidays. And I think it's a good time of year, Blake. First of the year, you got your brand new calendar probably, and you're looking to mark it up. So we've taken it upon ourselves. Over the years, we've done this a couple of times, but this year specifically, we've taken it upon ourselves to go through the insane holidays that you didn't know existed that we need to get on your radar so that you can enjoy 2023 to the fullest.
I mean, I was looking through these things, and I mean, maybe the internet is messing with me because there are some weird holidays. I actually had to cut back on my list. I narrowed it down to 3 of my favorites because there is one for every day. And I'll get started on one here that I found because it's coming up. And it's on January 23rd, and that is Snowplow Mailbox Hockey Day.
Wait, we need an explanation. Okay. That makes no sense.
So there's a whole history behind it, but I'll basically narrow it down. It says, so what happens on this day is that the snowplowers are given a clear shot at taking down as many mailboxes as they can while snowplowing the streets. The greater the number of mailboxes taken down, the more points they score. 5 points are awarded for every mailbox, and an extra 20 are given if the mailbox is thrown across the street.
You had to have found this on snowplowdriversonly.com.
I have no idea how they keep track of the score. I mean, they should really be like a live scoreboard that you can go to online and watch it this day. Because this day,
just replays slow motion.
It is fair game. It basically the history of it was that it was like an appreciation for like the snowplows and everything that they do with going out every day and plowing the roads. And so it was like, hey, have one day you can go out and knock down as many mailboxes as you want. And it sounds awesome. I want to become a snowplow driver. Well, just for that one day, but that sounds super fun.
Here's another question about that. Is there bonus points for brick mailbox versus the traditional wood post mailbox?
I mean, a brick's got to be at least 10 points.
100%. That's serious damage.
I feel like the mailbox would score 5 points for knocking out a snowplow. I can't imagine the snowplow would hold up super well against one of those. So you got to be strategic.
I also have to wonder, are they taking away the federal offense here? Because I remember, as a high school student, hearing multiple people vandalizing mailboxes, and it turns out that's a federal crime. So I'm wondering, is there like a
I mean, it's a national holiday, so they must have gotten immunity from
that's
that.
Amazing.
Which sounds like a terrible time if you're a mailman. To be totally, imagine trying to deliver mail and the mailbox is 30 yards down the street. That doesn't sound super fun, but
you go pick it up out of the road, put it back in the car, and shove some mail in it, and you're on your way.
I like to imagine them it's laying out in the middle of the road, and the mailman just drives up and just slips it into the mailbox on the road and drives away.
Runs over it on the way out, just flattens it. They're like,
yeah, their job is to deliver your mail, all right? It's in your mailbox, you deal with it. It's incredible.
It's got tire tracks on it. That's amazing. All right, I love that, and that's January 23rd, and I was a little nervous when you said January 23rd, because mine actually comes on the 25th. So another one that's coming up this month that I want everybody to be aware of. And it's something that many kids use as an excuse to lie. And I'm wondering if you can guess what that is by that hint.
Many kids use as an excuse to lie. Is it like a national fake sick to not go to school day or something?
Very good guess, and you're on the right track, but it is opposite day.
No, is that a real thing?
It is. January 25th is opposite day, and me as a kid personally, I use that a billion times. You tell your friend something made up and you're like, psych, gotcha. Opposite day, or just any number of things. I would always use that. I've heard that used a billion times, and as a kid, that was my number one go-to thing when I lied and I was trying to get out of trouble. They're like, why did you do this? They're like, it's opposite day.
It was opposite day every other day when you were a kid. It was just like you always had that in your back pocket to pull out. Nobody actually knew when it was, and now you ruined it for all the kids by saying it's January 25th. However, on January 25th, feel free to be a menace. I mean, anything you do is the exact opposite. Don't go into work. You're a good employee.
You got to ask your boss. You're like, should I come into work today? And they're like, yeah. You're like, all right, it's opposite day, so that infers that.
You said it.
You said it, not me, boss. So there you go. If you're looking for an excuse on January 25th, just remember it's opposite day, and that is according to dateandtime.com, celebrated holiday. So I don't think it's official anywhere, but it's opposite day, and so I think that's a really good one.
It's official. It's official in our house. All these, I mean, there's a solid chance none of these are like the official. I mean, there's a chance none of mine are real, but I got them off of a website, and I mean, it said dates and it had backstories. This next one, I haven't taken the time to read it because I saw the title and I knew that we had to talk about it because it is. On February 18th, a cow milked while flying an airplane day.
Dude, I don't know what website you were on, but it was a lot different than the one that I was looking for these on. What?
And what it really is it's apparently like an anniversary of this cow who was the first one to be flown and milked while on an airplane. And it was to like show the ability of transporting milk and other produce, basically, and so they took a cow up and milked it.
Probably pretty fresh milk. Once it got to its destination,
Yeah, I imagine. I mean, that takes me back to maybe that's how they know, like, expiration dates, because the cows are just being milked on the plane. They're like, all right, you got a week and a half, drink it.
Dude, yeah, that's the greatest idea ever. A mobile dairy where you're just like constantly running. It's like a farm on the plane.
Mobile dairy.
It's just so fresh because it's just constantly happening. The milking process is happening. Land delivered.
Land delivered. They got chickens on there too. They're popping out eggs. I mean, this is really a historic day in history. February 18th, a cow milked while flying an airplane day.
It really has changed the way we drink milk.
I mean, there's nothing quite like it in anywhere. I can't imagine there's another holiday about an animal being milked while flying.
I hope not.
There's only one. You get one.
But boy, am I excited to celebrate this year. I do have a couple more as well, Blake. I have one for every month, actually. So With the exception of January, which I've already shared. I want you to go ahead and choose a month, and let's see what I got.
I'm going to pick March. That is my birth month, so it better have a good one.
All right. Absolutely has a great one. So on March 31st, I want you to prepare to celebrate National Bunsen Burner Day.
Just like a Bunsen burner? Was it like the day that Bunsen burner was invented or something? Like what?
I don't know. I just know that it's the day. I didn't go that far.
I need the backstory on these, man. I gave you a whole story about a cow being milked.
I came up with 12 holidays, man. I didn't have time to research that.
Then I will do Blake's history right now. That is actually not the day the Bunsen burner was invented. It was, however, the day that a Bunsen burner was first used. I ran out. Okay, it was the day the Bunsen burner was invented. All right.
That has to be the thing. But I don't know. I just thought it would be awesome. You know, every high school science class, maybe some college science classes, firing up the old Bunsen burners and having a good celebration.
I mean, that's great. It really is not similar at all to my next one, because my next one is actually a very serious topic. Unlike Bunsen burners, it has a name, and this is actually it's called the festival instead of a holiday. I mean, it was on the holiday list, but it is the Festival of the Souls of Dead Whales.
This has to have like some big tradition or some.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just a day to memorialize like all the endangered whales that were killed in whaling and all that stuff. But it has one of the coolest names ever. I mean, the Festival for the Souls of Dead Whales. You're not just celebrating the dead whales. You're really taking in and remembering their souls, and that they had whale families and whale lives that were taken away by mankind.
Does this take place at SeaWorld?
Let me see if I can find where it takes place for you. I'll get back to you on that.
I'm assuming it does not take place at SeaWorld.
No, it definitely does not.
Because if you want to talk about some whales without souls, have you ever been to SeaWorld?
I mean,
you ever seen a full-size killer whale parked in a garage? A water garage?
Yeah, this actually, I thought it was about whaling. It's really just about SeaWorld. It's a memorial for Shamu, because while it is super enjoyable to go watch the tricks and everything else, the soul is sold to get Shamu in there. So
I must just be kind of a flaky person, because I remember I've been to SeaWorld twice, and I always think of it as, such a weird experience, because as you're pulling up to SeaWorld in whatever vehicle you're arriving in, you see like 12 people holding up signs saying like you're supporting the murder of animals, so you just feel like really guilty going into it.
See, and I'm a good person. I've never been to SeaWorld.
I guess. And while you're there, there's like planes flying over SeaWorld that says like they're torturing animals here
with
and
the
stuff.
Banners behind them.
But
man, that really adds to the experience.
You start seeing those animals doing the tricks that they do, and you have such an amazing experience that you start to forget about all that, and you're like, this place is awesome.
You're like, we should endanger more animals. Let's see what they can do.
Exactly. So if you like somehow, I don't even know how they do it, but somehow SeaWorld is that kind of a crazy experience that you don't have anywhere else, where you can forget about all the bad things that are happening and enjoy your time.
So that makes me wonder, if you could take any animal and they had a show about it, not necessarily at SeaWorld, it doesn't have to be a sea animal, any animal, and their whole lives were dedicated to entertainment, what show would you want to go watch?
Like you just described the circus, man.
No. It's one animal. Okay. Like, do you want to go watch Elephant World? Like, what's which animal do you think would put on the best show?
I mean, I'm trying to think, because I don't think many animals do kind of act or put on shows, but
well, that's because they haven't been put in the situations.
Yeah, but I don't think many can be trained. Like monkeys and some things like that, they kind of have the ability to be trained, gain skills. But other things like the big cats and stuff, I guess they kind of can be trained. I've seen some stuff. I don't know.
I just think it's really about dedicating the animals to learning that. Because I would love to see Armadillo World. I think that would,
What?
like, when they roll up in the ball and then they could have people, like, play soccer with it. I think that would be...
Okay, that's a cursed comment.
No, I mean, look, they're already suffering. You just really do it. Let's take out the moral side of things. Okay.
Okay, taking out the moral side of things, armadillo soccer.
Obviously, you're not going to have, like, cockfights, all right? Like, we're not setting these things up to just kill each other. But if the animal is going to be safe, armadillo's got, like, a shell, okay? Got a shell. They should be all right. So I'm thinking you have a little armadillo croquet. That'd be pretty cool.
Okay, so on the same lines, I'm thinking curling, but with the giant land tortoises.
That's good. That's
Like
good. Giant
1,000 pound or whatever, how heavy they get, just sliding them across the ice. It's a slow sport. Turtles are slow animals, and the tortoise as well. So just sliding it across gently. No animals harmed in the way. Maybe throw some treats down there at the end, and
of course,
that'd be an excellent show.
Yeah. I see. I'm telling you, there's a huge side of entertainment that we're already torturing animals. We might as well just go all in.
Jeez,
I'm all in on a sea tortoise curling. I think that'd be sweet.
If you need a birthday idea for Blake, he already mentioned it's coming up in March. A donation to his name. To PETA would be the perfect gift if you can't tell.
It's funny about that is on our most backhanded gifts episode, a donation made in your name was one of the things we
didn't it
about.
Win? No, Mustache Wax beat it.
Mustache Wax beat it,
but it made it super far.
Yeah, it had a nice run. So no, please don't unless you hate me. Unless you hate animals, then you can give it straight to me. And I'll take it, and I'll put it towards my fund for armadillo and sea tortoise, giant tortoise world.
All right, I can't wait to attend, Blake. I'm gonna go ahead and choose from my list here, and I'm actually going to go with September 28th, which is Ask a Stupid Question Day.
Ooh.
I do feel like once in a while we should just have the one day where it's okay. Because how many times have we sat in a class or a meeting or something like that, and somebody asks the question that the instructor or person leading the discussion just answered?
Yeah,
to me, those are the only
time.
kind of stupid questions when they're legitimately repeating themselves 2 or 3 times and somebody still has the nerve to ask that again. That's a stupid question.
It's a question that you probably should know the answer to, but just don't. A stupid question?
I mean, if it's like basic intelligence, I would say yes. If it's like basic day-to-day life stuff, I would say yes. But me, I'm not going to judge you. Like, when I was in school, man, I'm not judging the kids that were like, I can't understand this concept. Like, let's go back and do it. Unless the teacher had just, like, walked us through the exact thing that they're... And like, if the professor had just walked us through something and then they ask a question... that like wasn't like I got confused on this part, but they're like, "Hey, can we go back and look at number 14?" And you're like, "Are you joking, man? That's exactly what we just did." And the professor's like, "You know what, you ungrateful pupils? I'm just gonna shut the book now. We're not reviewing anymore."
Pupils. No, all right, because I know it's not September 28th yet, so I'm gonna find out if this is a stupid question.
Oh, here we go.
Because no, this is like a genuine question. Like, this isn't me trying to be funny. This is something that I've wanted for a long time. When you're driving on the freeway in the express lane, you know how there's got the double lines?
Yes.
And you're not supposed to cross those double lines.
Yes.
Now, if I'm getting pulled over and there's no room to pull over onto the left side, do I just immediately cross over the double white line, or do I have to wait for an opening with this cop behind me? Because I stress about getting pulled over in the HOV lane all the time. Because I'm like, if I get pulled over right now, I don't know, I'm putting my blinker on, but I'm not crossing over the double white line. Because what if he was going to give me a warning and then decided, oh, this idiot just broke the law right in front of me? No, double ticket.
What a disgrace, man. No, first of all, that is a really big ticket, from what I understand. That could be like upwards of $400, $500.
Okay.
But I have seen
how much for evading
signs.
the police?
I think, yeah, unless you're trying to do some jail time, it's got to be a little steeper. So I have seen signs that say, like, you can leave HOV lane whenever for emergency vehicles. So my guess is, I would definitely like throw on my blinker just to be like, I give up, buddy. Here I go. I'm going clear across, walk of shame, basically in a car.
Because you got to cross like
caught.
5 lanes with the cop behind you. That's just so
maybe throw up a little wave, so he can see behind you, a little peace sign. And
oh, don't hit him with the peace sign because
you just go like this.
He'll think I'm innocent.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't hit him with the peace sign though, because he'll think you're being like, "See ya,"
and
true. Then you're gone.
That's when, he's
going to hit you with the pit maneuver, and you're donezo.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I don't think that was a stupid question because I could definitely see both sides of that argument.
Okay, I mean, I think you really helped me now, though. Now I know I will, in fact, just put up both hands,
throw on cruise control so the car drives for you, and you're good to go.
Oh man, thank you for that. Really helpful.
Is that all the holidays we have?
That's all the ones I have, unless you had anything else.
All right, let me check real quick. Oh, so actually, one that I came across that I was really disappointed by is on April 10th, and that happens to be a very special day for me, and I have to share that day with National Siblings Day.
Oh, that's tough.
That's my birthday, so that's an outrage.
That's a tough one. You have to share your birthday with your siblings.
I have never realized that until a couple minutes ago. But like, what am I supposed to do? Wake up and give them gifts? Wake up and make them a cake? Like this is an absolute disaster of a day.
Do your siblings have to give you double the presents?
Well, they should, but I don't want to be celebrating anybody besides myself on my birthday,
That's fair. That's fair.
What a joke. So I am hereby moving it to December 25th, and there's no conflict on that date. I think we should do
February 29th. I think that
True.
is a one every 4 years type holiday.
Is 29th leap year? Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay. I thought you just booted it out of the calendar year, and I was like, you know what? That's not a bad move. We just cancel this.
That's also an option. You know what's funny about siblings that I had the realization the other day? Because how often did you grow up fighting with your siblings, Porter?
At least daily.
At least like 18 times a day. Yeah. 100. And now, how often do you fight with your siblings?
Less than daily.
Yeah, like
Not often.
like at what point in time do you go from being like just the worst of enemies to being like, hey, this guy's all right. Like they're pretty cool. Because my sisters they bullied me so hard growing up. And I mean, granted, now that I'm old enough, I just bully them, so it's fine. But like now, like we get along great. And I remember there was a point in time we've talked about it before. I have a scar on my hand from my sisters knifing me. Like I just want to know what age threshold is it when they move out? Is that when you're like finally you can get along with them and you don't have to deal with them every day?
For sure. Yeah, that's definitely I think the turning point. It's as soon as you get a little space, you get a little distance, and then you come back and they're like excited to see you. They want to catch up. They want to remember all the memories. So maybe
not
not all of them, but it is good to get a laugh in about some of those terrible things that happened as well. But yeah, definitely, you're kind of making me lean towards we do need a National Siblings Day, but it does not need to be April 10th.
No, it needs to be a national you no longer live with your siblings day. Because then it's an excuse to like get together and go do something. Like my sisters and I were just talking, like we just want to go out, just us, and go do something. And like, had you offered that to me when I was a kid, I would have thought you were punishing me. So
yeah, for sure.
I think it's after you move out and everybody's kind of got their own lives going on, then you can start celebrating National Siblings Day. So
yeah, National You've Grown Up and Your Siblings Day. There we go. There we have it.
Nice.
So those are some of our holidays. Grateful for that question that we had to answer. It's always good to have a couple things down on the calendar ready to celebrate this year. Yeah. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with another bracket this week, and we are doing the things that your parents say or yell at you when you're in trouble. So you're not going to want to miss that one. We will be right back. And we are back. We've got some of the most torturous things that your parents say to you when you've done something stupid. These were things that, as I remembered them, they brought back bad memories. It was hard to do this, but I do think it's going to be very relatable among the
Yeah,
listeners.
Truth be told, I had a hard time like coming up with a lot of these things.
Okay, here we go, Mr. Goody Two Shoes.
And it's not like my parents never got mad at me. It's just like I thought of like a couple big ones, and then after that, it was just like there's certain things that your parents can say that just make you feel terrible.
Oh yeah, there's like the one-liners basically.
I got into a little bit of that. I'm interested to see where you went with it because I don't know how much overlap we're gonna have. Probably a couple though, for sure. Because
all of Blake's include like 12 expletives. You know, his parents were screaming and cursing at him. He's like, beep, 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 beep. Yeah. I'm like, oh, well, maybe it was a little bit different. Hopefully there's no overlap there, but it's been a while since we've done a bracket, Blake.
I know. I'm going to defer the first pick to you. I was unsure who it was. I really wanted the first pick because to me there's a clear favorite.
Yeah. I don't know. Is there a clear favorite here?
To me there is, and I'm hoping you don't take my clear favorite because I am giving you the first pick, and so it'd be really nice of you to leave mine for me. But
I think there is. I think I know which one you're talking about. It's not a phrase that my parents used a lot, though, and so I'm going to stay true to my roots, and I'm going to take the one that they probably did use the most, and that is, "What were you thinking?"
Okay.
That was a phrase that I heard far too often.
Yeah. All the
and
time.
It hurts. That is a reflective.
That's just like a judge right in your character. Like, come on, man. That is not the one that I was worried about you taking, but you'll have to tell me if this is like acceptable for the bracket, if it's the right, idea. But I just had calling you by your full name.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because anytime that you get called by your full name, it's all three. I remember there was one time I was sitting at a friend's house and he got called by his full name, and I went and hid because I did not want to see what was about to come on this poor soul. So that's the one that frightens me the worst. Mm-hmm. So I had to take it.
Oh man, it's scary when you're at a friend's house and that happens. You're like, there's no time where you wanted to go home more. You're like,
how often were you at a friend's house and they got in some serious trouble with their parents?
Yeah.
Because it's the worst. All right.
It was even worse than that,
guys. I don't.
Did you ever get in trouble at a friend's house and get yelled at by their parents?
I mean, probably, but they usually took it out on their kid more than me. So
that is far worse when you wrecked something at their house and then you got in trouble. I mean, that is far worse. The feeling of doing something bad enough that your friend's parents have to get after you, that's tough. So because right when you go home, you've got another set of these one-liners waiting for you. You just got nailed at the friend's house. You get home, boom, again.
Yeah,
it's a terrible situation through and through.
Getting called by the full name.
The full name. Blake Michael Bushman. Ooh.
Close. Not quite.
All right, so it comes back to me with the third pick, and I think there is another one that is probably up here, and I think you'll end up taking it with number 4, but I am going to go with one that is even more degrading, I would say, than the first one that I picked, and that was, "You were raised better."
Oh yeah, that was on my list for sure.
That is
the exact phrase that I heard was, "I thought I raised you better than this," which is they're hurting themselves and throwing it back at you. I mean, just the biggest guilt trip of all time.
Honestly, yeah, because then not only do you look stupid, but you feel bad because you're reflecting negatively on your parents. They're working hard to make sure you're raised well, and you just let them down, and you can feel that on your shoulders when they hit you with that. That is a terrible thing to be told.
Yeah, that one was for sure high up on my list because that was probably one of the ones that I heard the most.
Yeah.
out of all these, just my parents were like, "Bro, come on, man! I thought I raised you better than this," and it just hurts deep.
That one you just walk away into the room and you just dang.
I mean, it was effective though. When my parents said that, it was all right, well, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah, honestly, give you some self-reflection right there. That's all you need.
All right. And then this next one, again, you'll have to tell me if I can dig. But I'm just going to say nothing. Like when they just hit you with that like death stare. So they don't say a single thing because it's just what you did was so bad and so terrible that they don't even have the words to express how mad they are. That they just hit you with that
just glare.
The glare of death. So
and I think
one of the reasons
yeah, that is tough. But I think one of the reasons that one's so potent is because you know something's coming, but you know that person is, deliberating on what they could possibly say to you to make you feel
just
like
the
nothing.
Meanest.
Yeah. And so you got to just sit there and you don't know what they're thinking. So you got to sit there and just let that emotion just like stir inside of you and you just feel terrible. Yeah, and that's the one where you run out there and you're like, I'm sorry. I know. Say something mean to me because I know I deserve it. Yeah.
Let's get it out.
But they just won't.
Yeah, they leave you with your own thoughts, which are oftentimes far worse than anything they could say. So that one would be pretty bad.
All right. I did not see you going in that direction. And so that left the one that I still had for me to pick here. And so
I make the wrong choice.
I don't know if you made the wrong choice. I mean, there's so many good ones. But I am going with number 5, and I am going to take Just Wait Until Your Father or Mother Comes Home.
I was hoping that one would come back to me. Yeah, that one's tough.
Oh man, because that means for me that meant I'm getting sent to my room and I am waiting until I hear that garage go around 5:30, 6 o'clock, and
what's terrible about it is that like your dad just got home after a long day of work. He's tired. He's fed up with it already. He walks through the door, and the first thing he hears is your mom going, "You need to go talk to Porter." And then it's that's tough because you got a tired, grumpy old dad.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that doesn't sound fun. So,
man, if that happens, when he gets home, I'm probably getting about 8 of these catchphrases. Like,
it was.
Do you think I want to do this to you, you idiot? Like, what are you doing? Like, what were you thinking? This isn't how I raised you. Yeah, that's there's definitely going to be some pent up emotion after a nice 30 minutes stuck in traffic on the highway trying to get home after supporting his family all day, and now he's got to discipline his son for toppling the cookie jar off the top of the fridge or whatever things I was up to.
All right, man. Remind me, just so I can double check. I didn't check things off my list well enough. The very first one you took was what again?
What are you thinking? What were you thinking? Yeah.
What were you thinking? Okay, because I'm going to take do you have anything to say for yourself?
Oh, okay.
Because that one again, they're just disappointed. They're like, dude, come on, give it to me. Try to explain yourself out of the stupid situation that you got yourself into. Yeah. It's usually after they've had to bail you out of something and take care of your problem, and then they're leaving you to explain. So,
and I think the thing that's so powerful about this is when they ask that, they don't care what you have to explain. You're like, well, Timmy told me I should do this, and so I did. I can specifically remember, I think this kid, I don't remember maybe his name was Ethan, but we were outside and my neighbors had a gravel driveway. I was probably 5 or 6. He puts this great idea in my mind. I loved baseball as a kid. He's like, we pick up these rocks, we make a pile over here, and then we throw them at the cars that are passing. And I was like, dude, that's the best idea I have ever heard. And so we're just in my front yard, just, everybody knows who's doing it. We're not trying to hide it all. We're just winding up. Here comes a car, bang, 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 trying to get like a handful of rocks, chucking it at these cars driving by. I don't know how I didn't end up in jail, Blake, but
that's terrible.
Some nice lady in the neighborhood ends up calling my mom, and my mom came outside. I think I probably got every single thing on this list, but that's one that I can remember. And I'm not saying I didn't deserve it because man, was I stupid, but I did get the, do you have anything to say for yourself or like what's going on? And I remember like my first thing I said, I was like, Man, Ethan told me to do it.
Throw your friend under the bus.
But yeah, I was like,
you'll never see that guy again.
He told me it was a good idea, and oh man! But I just remember I was in so much trouble. I was don't want to spoil my next pick, but I was grounded for a while. And the thing that sucked, I had to go out there and sweep up all the rocks. And then like the next day, I saw that kid was like already out of trouble. He was outside playing, doing his thing. My other buddy that was there with us, same thing, got like no punishment. I was just like, what's this sucks. And but a good learning moment for young Porter, even you can't take out your aggression on passing
cars. You needed it apparently. So,
but yeah, so that's a great pick. I'm glad it reminded me of that traumatic story. Big life lessons were learned that day. And, I don't blame my parents for any of that discipline. But with number 7, that leaves me to take You're Grounded.
Classic.
That's such a classic. I didn't think it was going to get this far into the bracket because I think a lot of parents, that was their first thing. Any kid slips up anyway, You're Grounded, 2 weeks, a week, whatever that was the first time period on their mind, man, they just threw that out quick. And
it
was tough.
I specifically had it written out as You Are So Grounded. I could hear my mom's voice saying that. I don't even know if she ever did.
Grounded.
But like, you are so grounded. Like,
that just sounds like more sassy. Like, you are so grounded.
So grounded. I, for some reason, that sounds worse. When you get grounded with sass, that's tough.
Oh man, yeah. There's a little attitude behind that grounding.
Did you ever did you get grounded very often as a kid?
We actually didn't.
I didn't either.
It took something serious, but yeah, I think like the worst punishment for me was as a little kid, I would go outside and play basketball, baseball, whatever, football in the front yard like every day with my friends. And so it'd be like, if I did do something serious, it was like 2 weeks that I couldn't go out there and do that. And so my mom just knew by like keeping me in the house, like it was going to be the best punishment for me to like not do those things anymore because I hated it. And I was like, I just got to get out. I got to get out of here.
You just stared out the window.
Yeah, exactly.
I got threatened to get grounded a lot more than I actually got grounded. I feel like my parents would be like, oh yeah, you're not doing anything for the next few weeks. And then
Blake's like, peace out.
And then, Friday would roll around and I'd be like, hey, can I gotta go do something. And I was able to go and, play basketball or whatever it was that I wanted to go do. So,
Blake's parents, we need to go back and retroactively place all these punishments.
3.5 years, you're staying home.
Blake's married and grounded.
my wife's like, hey, should we go out to dinner? No, sorry, I can't. My mom said I have to stay home.
Your mom comes and checks on you. She's like, I got a timer. It's counting down.
Like a
3 more days.
Officer, just
get an anklet on Blake. He deserves it after getting away with all those punishments and then being stupid enough to admit it on the show.
Yeah, here's the thing. My parents probably know. I'm the baby. So, like, admittedly, I did probably get away with a little more than other people would have. But it's all right. I'll be happy with that. My last one that I'm going to take, I'm kind of stuck between 2. And one is like when you're a little older and one is when you're a little kid. And I'm trying to decide which one is, one was definitely way more scary.
Okay.
And I'll talk through it here since you don't have any more picks left. So, because one of them is just getting that text that says to call them or saying like, we need to talk.
Ooh, true.
Either one of those, like when my mom texted me and said, hey, call me right now. The depth of my soul would just be like, just drop. Like, even if I hadn't done anything, like I'd been in school all day, just like studying like a good little child. But if I got that text, I was frightened because it meant so many things. And then the other one for when you're a younger kid is just it's like saying go to your room. It's just like I'm done with you right now. I don't want to do it.
That's tough. Those are both really good.
Yeah,
I can definitely think of experiences going both ways.
Yeah.
traumatic timeout stories, but yeah, getting that text and being out with your
that
friends
one's by far so much scarier.
and
So,
it's like you got to come home right now and you and your friends are off doing something. You're like, what? No, that was the worst.
Yeah, and I want to pick that one, and that's probably what I will pick. And it's just hard to like narrow down what exactly that text says, whether it's to call them or come home right away or like we need to talk. We need to talk is probably more of like a relationship things. Maybe that's not the right way to put it, but like saying, "Hey, call me right now."
Blake got broken up with by his mother.
Mean, really, what it is like when you see you have like 14 missed calls from your mom. Like,
True,
that's bad news.
Yeah, I put multiple missed calls from mother.
All right, that's probably the best way to put it out there, because you know that if you have multiple missed calls, not only does she think you're ignoring her. But
and
also,
the text says "call me" after that. Multiple missed calls and a text that says "call me." Oh man,
you did some bad stuff. If that's what you're getting. So, I mean that one probably is what would scare me the most out of all these. So, I'm happy with getting that very last.
Yeah, on the scary scale, that's a good steal of a pick. You know, we've got some really good ones, and I'm sure the listeners, you know, as they're going through this bracket, they're probably just like remembering all these experiences coming back, and hopefully it hasn't been too traumatic for anybody. Like we said, we did. I definitely tended to get in trouble more than any of my siblings, I would say. But I did have
being the youngest.
Oh yeah, that would have been nice. Yeah, I was the second child, but I was the first boy. So you know, older sister. She did get in trouble her fair share, but, you know, she left a lot of room for me to fail as well.
Now, I was the first boy, so does that give me any street cred in the...
I don't know. I think maybe being the youngest cancels that out.
Too powerful. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that might be kind of like a cross cancel there. So some honorable mentions that I had was, why would you do something so stupid? Because that's going to cut to the soul. And... I'm not mad, just disappointed.
Ooh, how did that go undrafted?
Yeah, that's
crazy. Tough. Wow. That one is bad, man.
And I also had, how many times do I have to tell you?
There's a lot of these, man. You came up with so many good ones. I was having a hard time, like, really coming up with things that, you know, because I was obviously such an angel.
You were so much better than me, clearly.
I never.
I remembered all of these. This was the easiest bracket we've ever done.
Porter has PTSD. No, I think it's important to note at the end of this, our parents are very kind. All right,
for sure.
We have great relationships with our parents. So do not attack them. I don't think anybody knows them, but I just wanted to give a shout out to the parents here for raising us so well with these strict reprimandations. What's the
absolutely. And I hope, you know, if you do have kids and you are listening along, I hope what you were doing is taking notes of some of these things and you're like, I want them to go down the right path. So I'm going to load up 2 or 3 of these the next time they screw up, and I'm going to let them have it. And we gave you guys some great ammunition. You know, you're going to have some stuff to really make your kids do some reflecting on their decisions to help ultimately guide them down the right path. So I think this segment, you know, maybe was a little deeper than we ever intended it to be, and it's going to help a lot of people, Blake. So.
I mean, that's really what this podcast is all about. Really getting in tune with your emotions and your childhood traumas. Like, that's what we're here for. And if nothing else, just know that you're not alone.
Where did that come from, Blake?
I realized that talking about these could bring up some troubling memories. So I was,
that's like the last thing I expected you to say. But yeah, we got your back no matter what. Shout out to everybody who listened. So we are going to be posting these as always on our Instagram starting Tuesday. We want you guys to hop on there and vote for which ones you think were more traumatic. And we will be eventually getting to a winner, which line was the most traumatic, and we will be posting that on Instagram as well. So make sure you're following us at PM in the AM podcast over there. We want to see your guys' vote. All the votes matter, and most of these polls do come right down to the wire. So don't underestimate yourself.
I think we should make the loser say whichever one is the worst to their wife the next time they get into a fight.
Okay. Or just like out of the blue, even better.
Yeah, you walk in the door coming home and you hit them with it. So we don't want to lose this one, guys. That'd be a bummer.
All right, there you have it. Punishments are back. Thanks for tuning in this week. We're excited to make the show. Blake, you got anything for the listeners before we sign off?
No, I think I've gotten in touch with my emotions enough. So,
all right, we appreciate it. So we will catch you guys next week.
Peace out.
Congrats on making it all the way to the end. We hope you enjoyed the show. You are now officially part of the PM and the AM fan base, the morning people, and we are super pumped to have you here. Now that you're a part of the crew, please share the episode with a friend, and make sure to check out the rest of our shows and social media content for more hilarious brackets, crazy questions, and an overall great time. Thanks for listening. It truly means a lot to us, and we'll catch you guys next week.